Welcome to the Creative Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lopez Jr. Follow us on Twitter at CreativeCoach47 and on YouTube at Creative Coaching Podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks a bunch for listening. Welcome to the podcast, Coach.
What's going on, Mike? I'm glad to be on. You know,
Good,
you hit me up last week about coming on. So for sure, let's get a day. Let's rock and roll.
Man, I appreciate you coming on, Ani. I know you're in high demand right now, and I'm so glad you came on and made the time to be with us. We go back a ways, and that's what I love about seeing your rise and what's going on in your life from a professional perspective. I know in your personal life, you know, marriage now and all that, that's even better, man. So, I mean, I'm just really proud of you, man, seeing where you know, the grind, man, and what you did and what you've done to this point. And so that's why I'm so happy to have you on, man, because I want to feature you and I want people to know you a little bit better. I mean, they know your writing, they know your evals, they hear you on different other podcasts, but I want them to get to know you a little bit better. So we'll get started, man. So my first question, Ani, is how are you introduced to the game of basketball?
You know, I think this was 97. I was watching the Rockets play in my house, in my parents' house. I watched Hakeem Olajuwon, and obviously this was probably more towards the tail end of his career, but I just enjoyed it. I think it was Rockets versus the Bulls. That's why I was introduced to Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, and I'm Nigerian. My family's Nigerian. My parents came to America, so Hakeem was big for us, and then obviously Michael Jordan. He's Michael Jordan, and so I want to say I was 5 years old. But I was a soccer player. Like, you know, I was a soccer player growing up till about 14. But I started playing basketball at 8. When I saw Hakeem and Michael play when I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
And so when I started playing at 8, I fell in love with it. So I just knew that's always what I wanted to do. Soccer was my first love, but once I saw basketball and got to play it, it was a wrap.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question about that, because you know, the African players that I've coached, the one thing is parents don't even care about basketball. Their parents are like, just get good grades. You can play, you can run around, do whatever you want, dunk the ball, and then we'll come to a few games. But for the most part, man, most African parents are like, good grades, be respectful. That's what I've always loved about the culture, man, is that. And so was that something that was kind of typical for you too?
Not really. Well, yeah, obviously they wanted me to make sure I had good grades and everything like that. But because they wanted me to be a soccer player, so athletics was just a thing. They showed up to all my soccer games, and then when it's basketball, and they saw how passionate I was, they showed up to a lot of my basketball games. Even in high school, my mom's working all the time. My dad is they showed up to games when they can, and they were fully supportive. Like when I told them I didn't want to play soccer anymore, it hurt them, but they really supported anything that I had going athletically, because they just knew I was going to work and grind. I just had to make sure I had good grades. So I didn't have the grades and everything was important, but my family was so supportive of anything I wanted to do athletically. Yeah. They just want to make sure that I just went hard and I gave it the best I had. So I couldn't ask for anything more than that. Now, did they have the money just to pay for training and all that? No, that means, you know, I had to go work summer jobs and stuff like that to get that, or just figure out if I can get some free work. But I mean, they were as supportive as they could be for my basketball career.
That's awesome. Now, you said in 1997, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 1900s, you were how old?
I was 5. 97. I was
Bro,
5.
That's when I graduated high school. Now I feel old. Oh my God, bro. Now I feel old, but whatever, right? We'll move forward.
Yeah, I hate to make you feel old. My bad, Mike. My bad.
It's all right. Yeah, never mind. Other things make me feel old as well. As long as I don't look it, I'm good, right?
Right.
My next question, man, that was great. What was your experience when you were coached, even coming up as an 8-year-old, learning the game, and then all the way through high school, college, all that? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had some solid teachers when I was younger. They just kind of taught me the fundamentals of it. I had good footwork early on because soccer, right? It really taught me how to have some good footwork. I was taller than a lot of people, So I was playing the post. And then as I got older, like when I got into high school, I was still kind of like a post player until my senior year. Like I kind of played more on the perimeter. But my coach is like Coach Brian Crawford, like he was the first like hardcore coach I had when I had him like as a freshman, sophomore in high school, and he kind of taught me just how to work and grind and shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Not talking, but just like shut the hell up and just work. Like just because you do good, that's what you're supposed to do. Him and Coach Elijah Kopic, those are two people that I'm very close to this day. And Brian Crawford, that's like a brother to me. He was one of my he was one of my groomsmen in my wedding. So yeah, like they kind of just taught me how to be tougher. And then as I got older, like I just really developed a perimeter game. And then so I was always kind of like, it's funny, back then being like a 6'3" like 3'4" wasn't sexy, right? Like, but I was athletic, I was strong, like I was built, like everything like that, had feel, but it just wasn't sexy. So like having coaches like Brian Crawford and Elijah was great. David Johnson was my head coach at high school at Bishop T.K. Gorman. They were great. They were great for me for my development. Then I went to Tyler Junior College, and I was like, it's funny, Mike. I was on the redshirt program, right? And then I just built my way up. They got me on, and I was someone with good character and worked hard, and I just outlasted everybody, right? That was the most talented, but I just outlasted everyone. I just didn't no drug test. I didn't do no stupid you know what I mean? Like I just I was productive and I was consistent. So having a coach like Mike Marquis, that's someone that I consider like one of my mentors as well. At TJC, he was great for me for 2 years. And then UT, I did like a little bit, but then I started getting knee problems, to be honest with you, Mike. And I was like, this is Division III basketball. This is cool. I ain't gonna be no NBA player. And I knew I kind of wanted to be part of basketball, but I didn't want to do. I knew playing wasn't for me, right? Like, just what am I going to do? Like, get a little money overseas where I could probably make more money being a manager at Walmart. That's how I'm thinking, right? So
logical,
yeah. So then that's how I got into coaching. Like the summer when I was 21 years old, I actually coached for Brian Crawford, his summer team. It's called East Texas Ballers at the time. Now it's Ballers Nation. I was the 17U head coach at 21.
Wow. With that, would you say that he or who influenced you to go into coaching then? Would you say it was him?
I would say it was him. I would definitely say it was Crawford because like I had a passion for just really knowing the game. He knew the game. And he just like I saw him and I was like, man, I want to be like that. Like I want to be a successful coach. So yeah, I would say he definitely was inspiration for me getting into coaching.
And what about him was like the main hook? Like, because I have right now the AD of the school that I work at or that I coach at, he's the reason why I got into coaching. And every time I hear him say something just the way he motivated was the one thing that got me. And the way he prepared us. What was the one thing or two things that Coach Crawford like instilled in you that you felt like this is why I want to be a coach?
Just a passion for the game and to show that you have a passion for it, and just the work ethic and grind. Like I enjoyed like how he did all those things to get the most out of players, and he got the most out of me. And I wanted to do the same for others. Like I felt like I was someone that I always had to. You had to unlock the talent. Like you had to teach me how to work and stuff like that. And when I was exposed to it, I did it. I was grinding like multiple times a day working out. And I felt like, there's other kids out there that need a chance. Right. And we're in Tyler, Texas. Basketball's not a thing. It's all football. So just him having so much of a passion for basketball in an area that's not known for basketball. And just having a passion to help others and just get the most out of guys. Like I just wanted to do the same.
Man, I love Tyler, Texas, bro. Like the trees, that does it for me, man. That like puts me in a whole nother mood just driving through there, and love Tyler, Texas. That's good, man. Now I want to ask you about as far as a coaching moment where you were like, man, that's it. I'm not a player anymore. I'm a coach. And you were like, okay, this for real now. This is not something that I'm just like playing games with. what was that kind of welcome to coaching moment for you?
So I misspoke. Like, so at 21, I coached a 14U and a 17U. Right. So the 14U boys, my first game I ever coached, I lost by 40.
That's it.
So that was my welcome. Like my first. So there's two moments. My first one was that, right, losing by 40, and when your team's getting drugged like that, there's nothing you can do. And I felt like I was just getting coached, outmatched. Like I was just stuck. I hated that feeling. Like, you think you have all these ideas, this, that, how you gonna attack, this, that. But when it's like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And
Mike Tyson.
That was me. I was like, we got punched out. I didn't know how to respond, how to do anything. So I was like, that humbled me. I was like, okay, like there's a lot you got to learn. So, and it's not just yelling too. Like just yelling at them ain't going to just do anything. Like you got to really teach. So that was one. And I would say, because I'm done coaching now, I kind of oversee my homeschool basketball program, Texas Storm, but I would say when we played Jonesboro at this was the class of this was 222, 223 season, and they're one of the best schools in Arkansas. Like year in, year out, they have multiple state titles. Their coach knew every little thing about my team. To like jab step, when we're gonna run this, when we're gonna run that, and it was still a close game. We'd end up losing. But I felt like I said he was more prepared than me. And so that was another kind of like, okay. And by that time, I've won titles. Like I won tournament titles, conference titles, all that. But that was, someone was way more prepared than me. And I just told myself I would never be that prepared. I would never be like, someone's not going to be more prepared than me again. And, those two moments really, like in my coaching career, was like, okay, like that humbled me. Like that humbled me to where, okay, I got a lot to learn.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we've all gone through both of those, I guess. I remember being on max preps for beating a local school here by 100 points, not because we tried to, it just happened. We were missing shots. They just kept going in. And then on the other end, that same year, we were on max preps for getting beat by 100 from Finley Prep and, Avery and Washington and all them kicking our tails in. And I learned a lot about that whole dynamic of like feast or famine, right?
Yeah.
Like what can you do when you're getting drilled like that, except just encourage, smile a little bit at them, don't make them feel like this is okay, but that things are gonna be okay. So yeah, the humbleness that comes with both of those is really cool, man. And so that dynamic, I really appreciate you sharing that. Now, who influenced you going to evaluating? Because that's a whole nother beast. Because we've seen some good talent as coaches, but that doesn't necessarily make you a good evaluator. So who kind of brought you along and got you into that?
So I saw how I got into evaluating. I played in a Future 150 event in Houston with my 17U squad, and we won one of his divisions. And I saw that they have some interns for evaluating, right? And so I'm just trying to, hey, if it's some extra money or some different field, let me go into it. So that was going with Jason Pratt, and I'm telling you, my first weekend, Mike, not gonna lie, I thought I would never get into this. Like I hated my first weekend. Right. I hated doing that. I thought this is weird. Like, I don't want to do this. And then over time, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in the gym, evaluating, figure out how to evaluate like better. And so no one really influenced me. I just saw an ad on Future 150 saying they need interns. And I just said, I'm interested. And like, it just kind of went from there. Then, yeah, it's just crazy. I'm telling you, after my first weekend evaluating, Mike, I swear, I was like, I will never do this again.
Yeah.
And now,
look at you now. I had an experience like that one time. There was a school that when I was coaching, at Athlos back in the day, and then we played at this little private school here in town, and man, they had home cooking, man. Those referees were terrible. Come to find out, they were related. The referees there were related to the coach and the whole organization. And so, we didn't get beat too bad, but it was terrible. And at the end of the game, I tell that coach, don't you ever call me for another game. I'll never play you again. I will never step foot in this gym. 3 years later, I was coaching at that school. So
Right.
I gotta watch what you say. It really, kind of one of those things where it's like, man, you're still developing at that time. I'm sure you're still developing is that whole menu of what you want to get into as far as the game was concerned. And so you found your niche, man, and that's something that I think more young guys need to look at, and young women too. Is like, yeah, you can't play no more, but you can still do X, Y, Z in the game. And so I think that's encouraging for a lot of people, even former coaches that are stepping away from the game. And they're like, well, I don't want to be a part of the day-to-day because something happened in their family. But, man, they maybe evaluate, maybe operations, maybe. And that's the beauty of this game. It takes you all kinds of places that you could never have fathomed that you go.
Right.
And so that's really, really cool, man. That's a great story, Red. Now, I kind of a question that I want to throw in there because, and I just want to get your input on it because you go into a lot of gyms and I see a lot of high-level talent, especially like in the EYBL Scholastic or like say like high marquee games like during the school season as well, events. We don't see a lot of fans in the stands,
Right.
except for the exception of maybe like the Hoop Fest or the Tarkanian Classic, things like that, right? We don't really see a whole lot of fans in this. Why do you think that is? Because I mean, you got big time players out there, a lot of talent, some of the best high school basketball in the world. Why do you think that is? That most people there's like low attendance sometimes.
I think it's interesting because a lot of the top talent now are going to more into the prep schools or the non-traditional schools, right?
Yeah.
We're definitely seeing a shift, right? And those schools don't have like thousands of like students. So
Yeah.
I think like the lack of like school support in some of those also, is a reason for that. And I'm just also saying like that's a great question. I think it's more so because the top talent are going to preps. And so because those preps maybe hold 100, 200, maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
When they're having games, there's not going to be a lot. And because those top kids are leaving, then now you're not having the higher level of talent in these public schools like we used to. So guys aren't just going to those public school games anymore like that, right? Now, if it's a rivalry, like if it's a real rivalry, you're going to see games be packed out. But I think because guys are leaving and going to non-traditional schools, and what's kind of unfortunately what's left is like the rest.
Yeah.
People aren't just eager to go to those games.
Yeah.
And in those schools that those kids transfer to, there's not a student body big enough to pack gyms. And some, they don't even have a home gym. You know what I mean? So they're traveling a lot. So I would say that's the thing is that they're going to schools that are mainly basketball focused, which means you're going to have a smaller student body. And at those schools, because those kids are leaving, it doesn't give guys motivation to see, unfortunately, like non-scholarship level players. Now, when you see schools like public schools that have a top 100 kid or a Division I level prospect, just someone that's fun to watch. Maybe they're not a Division I player, but they can drop 30 or 40 anytime. I see those gyms being more packed because that's a show. But there's less guys in those schools that are shows or must see.
Yeah, because like even like for a long time I'd see like the Dix Nationals, right? And now it's Geico Nationals or whatever it's going to be next year. The EYBL Scholastic. I mean, it's going to change, right? Different iterations of it. Now I see low turnout, and I'm like, man, I wish I could fly to New York and watch that, or I wish I go, And I guess that's part of it too. But I just wanted your perspective on that. I mean, so I kind of just threw it in there because I was thinking about him. Like, I wonder how he sees it, because I've always thought it's a shame, man. All these great players and not very many people are there to see them. Now let's go to like the Hoop Hall Classic, and you got the NBA scouts sitting there too. Now the right people are there to see you.
Right.
Yes, that's the thing too. So it's a give and take. And I think man, how much high level of a game would you see if they had, the student body and other people hyping them up? I think you'd see even a better brand. And so I don't know. I just wanted your thoughts on that because I was like, I wonder how he sees that. But yeah, man. Now I want to ask you about the grind of being on that recruiting trail. We talked about before we got on about the travel. There's deadlines, I'm sure, for everything you have to turn in, and reports. And even though you love it and you have a passion for it, how real is that grind, man? As far as the evaluating world,
when you get to a point, like honestly, to get to the point where I am now, and I'm very happy I'm to this point where I can do this for a living. Before then, it was a lot of free work, and it was a lot of grind, and you weren't making a whole lot of money. So just kind of even staying up, doing this, like just traveling and writing, and just kind of doing your hustles and working, like kind of have multiple gigs just to kind of get it done, was a beast. I'm not gonna lie to you, like that wasn't fun. Now you get to the point where, okay, I can do this full time. I have deadlines, but like some deadlines I can kind of create on my own. But it's such a grind. Like I'll tell anybody, like from January to now, I've been to 16 different states. Yeah, like it's been a lot of basketball, a lot of evaluating, and then you get done with one weekend, you got to write your reports, and then you got to leave probably Thursday or Friday, and you're on to the next thing, and then. If you fall behind after like 2 or 3 events, that's a lot of writing you have to get done. There's a lot of players you've seen. So, and then obviously like from the NBA side, like because there's a few teams that they subscribe to my service. They're intel. A lot of this stuff is intel. So gathering intel right on players and knowing who they are and what they are, who's in their circle and this, that, and the third. I mean, it's a lot. Like, to be honest with you, it's a lot. It's a daily thing. My wife, she she was sick one day, and so she didn't go to work. And she saw like, I work from home when I'm not traveling. But she realized like this isn't just me like sitting on the couch playing video games. Like it's a 50 to 75 phone call a day type situation. So she's like, oh, wow, you're always busy. And I'm like, yeah, like this is how it goes. So it's a grind. Like at this point, it's a grind. It's fun because I'm passionate about it. But like every day is like it's something new, something pops up. You got to be able to adjust. Some schools or a program may need something. You got to write this up, and someone's gonna call you, who's the best 2026 wing that I can find, or Ani, who's your top 10? Can you text me your top 10 2027s nationally, or who's the best shooters? Like that's just outside of the work you have to do. So it's a grind. It's a grind, and it's even a harder grind in my opinion when the money ain't even making sense, and you're just like you're really just hoping that it does make sense. And luckily for me, it has, and I want it to continue that way. But it ain't. It's a grind.
Yeah, no, I remember those grinds in those gyms out somewhere in Houston or in Dallas somewhere where nobody was paying to get in. We had our little events, and you're there evaluating there too, and watching people. I saw the genesis of, maybe not the complete genesis, but at the beginning of your career, and just being in these small gyms. Nobody was asking you to be on field of 68 or a ball is life. Like, you were grinding away, man. And so that's why I said at the beginning, man, before we got on, like, man, I'm really proud of you, man, because it's been something now where I see you and people tagging you and you're all over the place. And I'm just like, man, I remember when that now I can say that kid, because I know how much younger you are than me. I was like, man, that kid really came up, and that grind, it's nothing new to you. I saw it. Other people saw it. So that grind is real, and it's paid off, man. Whether it has monetarily or continue to, I guess yet to be seen. But hey, you know what? It's making sense.
It is. And Mike, you saw me when I had like a mohawk. I had like a mini mohawk with some dirty jeans and some shoes. Like, shout out to Alan Branch and Lupe Nunez getting me right, because they had to get me right. Mike, you saw me at the very beginning, but you saw me at the beginning when it's like I needed some work. I needed I needed to clean up. I was so hard headed. I didn't want to cut my hair and nothing. A new pair of jeans. I didn't know if I wanted a polo. Like it, it's a different time.
Yeah, no, man. Lupa and Allen, cream of the crop, man. Those two guys helped me out a whole lot as well. So yeah, I shout out to them. Now, character, I mean, and integrity, that means a lot in the evaluating game as well. It meant a lot in your coaching career, but also now as an evaluator, because I mean, I know what a lot of other people know, how easy it is to just slide on some cash and be like, hey, give me a good write-up, give my child a good write-up. They're going to be in this event. Can you make sure you're there and I'll take care of this or that? How important is it for you to have that high character and high integrity as a professional evaluator now?
Yeah, I think it's important. And honestly, like people come with me with that. And I think the biggest thing is like just being truthful with them, to be honest with you. Like, hey, listen, someone wants me to come and watch their kid. That's fine. Like I'll watch and I'll be very transparent and honest. I think it's all about being honest with who they are, what that kid is, and their level. If you're going around, you seeing the D3 kid and they're saying how much would it cost for you to get him Division 1 to tell people he's Division 1, then that's just wild, right? Like, but you want me to come watch, I'll watch and I'll tell you Division 3, and these are the schools you need to look at. And if I'm here to help if you need it. But I think it's important, and you just gotta be truthful. Man, you just gotta be honest with people. If you don't think they're a Division 1 player, don't feed them some bullshit. Like, no matter how much money it is, like just say, hey, listen, this is what it's going to be. This is what level they are. If you want them to actually be successful and play, they probably need to go here. Or maybe they're just not college basketball players. And you got to be honest. You got to be truthful. You got to, like when you're an evaluator, you got to be truthful. And you're not always right. Like you're just thinking, like, listen, Brandon Jenkins, 24/7 thinks, oh, Ani never missed when he's wrong. I brought up like 4 situations I was wrong. But I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to tell them what it is. You can prove me wrong. You prove me wrong, that's great. But I think the biggest thing about being an evaluator is be honest with your evals. Don't say a kid is a certain level and you don't think that, but you're doing a favor for somebody. Don't get into that. All it does is ruin your credibility, because that kid's going to graduate and move on, but that coach is always going to be there. That coach is going to be there, even if it's at a different school or whatever. And that stuff gets back around. So I just tell people, like, when you're evaluating, really take your time to evaluate and know your levels. I know it's not really answer your question, but it just kind of go off the side a little bit. I watch junior college games. First thing Branch had me doing was watching junior college games. Region 14, Region 5. I'm going to like Division 3 practice. Coach McCaslin was at UNT, invited me to his practice. I'm going to UTA when when Snoop was there and Ogden was the coach. Like I just went to various random levels of Division 1, junior college, Division 3 games and practices. So I knew what levels were. I'm not just spewing out a kid's a mid-major. I've never seen a mid-major practice or a basketball game a day in my life. That doesn't make any sense. So this is just me talking to people that want to evaluate. Watch all levels. Go to these practices. Be open. Understand what it takes for that player to be successful at that level. And then when you go back down to the high school level, you see, okay, that kid can play here, or maybe that kid can't play for that coach, but he can go play in this league because I saw this. You know what I mean? Like evaluating isn't just, hey, I'm an evaluator now, I'm going to do some rankings, I'm going to tell people what level they are. I think we're getting to that point, and I feel that when I came up, it was, before, I may have been an evaluator, but I didn't feel like I was an evaluator until I really truthfully knew levels. You know what I mean, Mike?
I get you, man.
I had to know these levels before I could go around and call someone a low, a mid plus, a high major,
Yeah, you have to look at the conferences as well and say, this conference for this little skinny guy, probably not going to work. He can finesse something on the West Coast or finesse maybe on the East Coast, but in this part of the South or Midwest, he's going to get beat up. So you got to kind of you understand those levels and how that works, because everybody says it, but it has to be understood. There are levels to it. There's a lot of different levels, And guys get an eye opening, like you talked about going to JUCOs. Guys need to open their eyes to that fact that, like, hey, JUCO, it's no joke. It really, I mean, we say it because of the grind that it is, because of the lack of facilities or resources. But the hooping that happens at some of these JUCOs it's D1. They just didn't the grades or the development or whatever, right? But it's some really good basketball. So yeah, I appreciate that advice to people who want to go into that, because yeah, I mean, seeing a game, watching a practice consistently will give you an idea of what, that kid could look forward to or not look forward to.
And Mike, another thing, like, just for advice, coaching helped me become a better evaluator.
Yeah.
Because I got to understand what it takes to win basketball games. At the end of the day, kids getting recruited to help a college coach win basketball games.
Yeah.
So, and it also allowed me to understand, because you hear the word, oh, that kid's nuts, or he's a bad kid. Well, yeah. I coach head cases and I coach bad kids. I know the difference, but yeah. you get to see what that is when you're evaluating, because you coach. Like, when you evaluate, okay, this kid, you may not like a kid because he doesn't do the little things to help you win. And someone may think that's great because of, the physical, like the physical profile, and they're athletic and all, they can make open shots, but they're not going to die for loose balls. They're not going to rebound hard. They're not going to defend hard. They don't want to communicate. The little stuff that a coach will see that, impacts winning. When you talk to a college coach, and like, that's what helped me become a better evaluator was, coach, he can't help you win right now because he doesn't do these things. So you're going to have to teach him how to do these things before you put him on the court, because he's going to make you lose basketball games, and that's going to F up your job. Because
it's real.
We're trying to win. We're trying to win even high school level. So if you know what that takes, so when you're evaluating, it allowed me to realize, okay, that kid is talented, but he doesn't know how to win. So yes, his talent level is this, but coach, I'm telling you, it may take a year for him to buy into your system and help you win games.
To assimilate,
yeah. So that coaching, I tell people, if you can get into some coaching or follow a team or be on the sideline, like, if you could just get any coaching experience, I think that would be real valuable. And there's people that never coach and are great evaluators. I'm not saying that that's the only way, but I would advise, if you can get into some coaching, it will open your eyes a lot to some stuff.
Yeah, because you have you talked about the profile. I mean, every college coach, he's 6'7" and up. Like, I can do something with them. You might be able to do something physical with them, but if they don't have the IQ or the desire, all that cool stuff that they like, they don't know how to put it away, then I mean, that's a separator right there. Is the kid who's 6'7", 6'8", and says that they're a point forward, and the kid who just doesn't want to, they just bring in the ball, give me the ball. Bring in the ball, give me the ball. And that's it. Not the kid playing defense, not the kid, like you said, hustling and all that. Like, super important. So coaching teaches you that, because body language better than anybody else at that point.
Right. Right.
The smacking of the gums, that stuff, all that. And like, they'll be looking at you going, and they're just doing that, but their mind's somewhere else.
Right.
Okay, I got you. You sit there a little bit longer now, and then everything counts. Especially if you're talking about a full evaluation where coaches are trusting you, man. You got to give them the whole intel. NBA, scouts, they really want to know, because they're saying, okay, I'm sure this kid can figure it out by the time he gets to us, or the time we get to pick him up or whatever. But what if he doesn't? Then we knew that this was always going to be an issue. So things like that are important. I'm glad you brought all that up, because coaching does help to. I talked to an analytics guy in the NBA, and he was like, coaching will help you in analytics. You might be ahead of the guy who's like a math wizard, because you understand the game better. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that. And so, your coaching can help you with evaluating. That's good stuff, man. Now, I want to ask you, I guess on the evaluating piece too, because now with the portal, now JUCOs, you get that time, all this stuff happening, right? How real is it when these operators are saying, "Come to my event"? There's going to be a bunch of coaches there, and they're gonna see you like, how real is that? Because I think a lot of coaches, I mean, it's been this way for a while, right? Get old, stay old. Like
Yeah.
is it just the top 150 and maybe 100 other kids that are going to get recruited by those coaches? I mean, is it really that sparse for high school kids right now?
Yeah, it's pretty sparse. Like if you really look at it, if all the Division I schools, there was a point in time people were taking 3, 4, 5 high school kids. Now we're talking about 1, maybe 2. Some are taking 3, and there's a few that will take 4. If you just cut 2, maybe 3 scholarships out of every school in Division I basketball, that's a lot of scholarships that are, that used to go to high school kids.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scholarships that are being left out. There's a lot of kids that aren't getting a scholarship anymore. It's kind of how I look at it. Like if everyone was comfortable taking 3 to 4, and now they're taking 1 to 2. If you take 1 to 2 scholarships away from a high school kid, like out of every Division I program, that's how many kids that aren't really getting, that aren't getting a
300 and something, right?
Yeah, like that's a lot of scholarships gone that are going to portal kids, that are going to older guys, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is scarce. It's tough. Like it's tough for a high school kid to convince a Division I school to take that chance and to offer them a scholarship is harder, especially for guards. Like high school guards is definitely hard. If you're not in that top 150, or if you don't perform at the right time, man, like when they're watching you, you may not get another chance. That's why TABC and the July Live period and the May period, they're just so important. So they're just so important because those are those chances in the summer you're going to have. And during the school season, you'll have opportunities, like coaches will come and see you. But, once their season starts, they're not really focused on high school kids. Like once December hits, they're asking about who's going to hit the transfer portal on it, who you got to hit the portal. That's where they're at, at a certain time. And the high school kid just kind of irrelevant until the portal dies down and they realize, oh, we still have 3 scholarships. We probably need to fill that with a high school kid, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, it's really tough. And I think people need to realize that it's not how it was 5, even 10 years ago. They're not taking all those high school kids. Now, they may, I mean, obviously there's rules in place with like what the NIL situation is going to look like. But there have been coaches that have been coming up to me and saying, Ani, we can't pay 15 guys, right? Or we can't pay 12 guys. We need to fill that in, or a lot of money. We can't pay them. We can't pay that many guys, or we can't pay them that much money. So who are some guys that maybe that they're talented that we can get, and we don't have to blow like, at 200,000-300,000. So now kind of coming around like, okay, let's get a high school kid that we could just develop or fill the spot, because we don't need to get a bunch of portal kids, pay them a bunch of money to get them, and then our salary cap is high as hell. And at the end of the day, you're only gonna play 8 guys, because that game comes down to conference, or if you make the conference time, conference tournament, national tournament, you're not playing that many guys. So coaches are kind of coming along like, okay, we need to fill 12 through 15 if we want to take 15, or maybe our 12, 13, 14 guy maybe needs to be a high school kid now. They're starting to come along with that idea because they realize they don't have the money to keep spending that much on portal kids.
Yeah, no more Prop 47s either, I'm sure. Stuff like that. So I remember that was pretty prevalent. And then also, man, like you talked about not seeing them after December. Like, I haven't noticed any post on, we want to thank this coach and that coach for coming out to see our practice. You don't see that anymore. You really don't, because they ain't coming out unless you're like, here again, a top 150 kid.
Right.
They're not coming to your game.
Or you just performed well in July. If you perform well maybe in July or TABC, maybe they'll come back around and see you at the fall before their season starts. But when it gets down to about December, like if you haven't committed, if you're at 26 and you haven't committed, you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait. Not saying you won't get Division I, you're just gonna have to wait. You may have to wait till May or June. Like that's the reality of it.
Yeah. So with that being said, going back to you and in particular mentorship, how important has you talked about some of the coaches who are still mentors in your life. How important has mentorship been for you throughout your career?
Oh, it's been huge. It's been huge. Like guys like Alan Branch, who's been so important in my development as a scout. Like I can't thank that man enough, man.
Yeah.
That dude, I honestly, like, people don't know like my full journey. That man really kind of saved my career, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. He got me going. So I can't ever thank that man enough. Like him, Lupe Nunez, Bilal Batley, obviously, like Brian Crawford, who I mentioned earlier. Like those guys have been so huge,
Yeah.
been so impactful. So mentorship to me is so important. And those guys weren't just like pat me on the back, tell me I did a good job. Like even I remember Branch introduced me to Chris Walker, and Chris Walker grilled. Like Branch used to grill my writing, like on my ass, and then Bilal, and mentorship is tough love. There's tough love involved, and
And those are some real ones right there. Those
those
are
are real.
real ones right there.
Lupe will call me, cuss me out. Like there was some tough time, but I'm telling you, without them being like giving me that mentorship, Mike Marco as well, like those guys, they did not do what they did, I would not be who I am at all.
Yeah.
Like, so mentorship is so key. Like you got to be around people that know more than you, know different than you, that will push you, that want genuinely what's best for you, want to get the most out of you. So if that's coaching, that's evaluating, whatever, like you got to have a mentorship, and maybe not just one. You have multiple people that just are going to just push you and just want you to be the best version of yourself. So if anyone can find that, I mean, go for it. But don't get a mentor that's just always going to talk nice. Like I don't need that. I didn't need that. Like I needed someone to tell me, Ani, this is bullshit. I needed that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it. I still don't want to hear it, but I needed that. I don't grow if I don't have that.
Yeah. Now Bilal, he's probably the nicest one out of that group, and I think he might have gassed you up a little bit, but at the same time, he's real. Like he's got such a vision that he has for like what he for players and things like that. Like he has a real passion for players and their future and things like that. So I'm sure he had his take on it too. But yeah, having those real ones and those truth tellers in your life and people that are going to challenge you on a daily basis, if not weekly. Yeah, super like a board of directors for your life. Really, really important, man. So yeah, I'm glad you shared that because mentorship, I think, is something that coaches, evaluators, anybody in the game, we can help each other, and that's a great way to do it. Now, what have you learned about yourself throughout your career, whether it's coaching or evaluating, just in the game? What have you learned about yourself personally?
To answer a hell of a question. What have I learned about myself? I've learned how much I love basketball. Like it's weird. It's weird to say. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing that I mean, there's just I couldn't see myself doing nothing else. Like I just realized I just really love basketball, and it's not. I've realized that as long as like I enjoy helping others more than myself.
Right.
I've learned that people will say, "Oh, you got to find the next you," and I want to find the next me, right? Like I want that person to be better than me.
Yeah.
Coaching has taught me that I really enjoy just helping guys just try to make it and try to figure out, and it's bigger than basketball. I think it's two things. I've realized how much I love basketball because it's going to test how much you love basketball when you're coaching and evaluating, you're traveling. You got to really love it. It can burn you out. And I would say that this may sound cheesy, but I just realized how much I just enjoy helping others. Like I enjoy helping the next one. Even someone, I'm not the greatest at texting back. People know me. Sometimes I'm not the greatest at answering or calling back, but I just have a passion for helping people. I would spend my own money to help somebody else just because I know they have a vision and I want the vision to come true. I didn't really realize that about myself till I got into coaching, till um I got into evaluating. I just enjoy helping others. Like it could be, and then people would say, "Oh, Ani, like I kind of want to be like you," and I just don't just be better than me.
Yeah.
And I mean that. Like I want people to push to be better than me, because when I looked at evaluators when I growing up, I want to be better than them. It's just friendly competition.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
know, but I just enjoy helping people. Be honest with you, I really enjoy just seeing others make it through, because the more people that we have doing that and really wants to help the kids and be honest and be great at their craft, I think that just elevates the game even more.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. I like what you said. Be better than, because I remember my 18-year-old when she was little. I used to teach her because they'd ask her like, "Hey, you want to be good at basketball?" And I tell her, "Nah." I tell her that you want to be better than Michael Jordan, like stuff like that. Just to get her mentality to be like, "Yeah, he's the best or the greatest, but I want to be better than him." Like that mindset, it translates. Just like we talk about kids games translating to the next level, where your mindset translates to, and I think that can really help people to understand where you're coming from and how you're willing to help. That's great, man. I really appreciate you sharing that. Now, your support system, how important has that been for you? Because all of us need that support system, because there's a lot of times we're doing things and we're just going, and somebody's going to tell us, "Hey, man, knock it off," or "Here's what you need to do," or maybe breathe a little bit. How important has that support system been for you?
Oh, it's been great. Like doing what I'm doing and traveling as much as I'm traveling, like it's been great just to have a wife that just supportive for what I'm doing and letting me know, like, hey, you probably need to sit your ass down and just relax for a little bit. I need that.
Yeah.
And just everybody that's around me, just my family, them being supportive of my dreams and my goals, and also recognizing, hey, you're not yourself right now. What's going on? Or people that I can just call and just kind of vent when things like I mean, a support system. So it's so important what you're doing, especially in this field, because a lot of days, it's a lot of tough days. It's not just horrible, but it's just a lot of tough days, a lot of tiring days. And I'm telling you, when you first get started, there is not a lot of money. you
Yeah.
know, there's not a lot of money, man. Like, and Mike, you know this. So what, your support system got to be able to support you in the process of you getting to where you need to, but they also got to be able to say, hey, like, just relax, I'm here, you can talk to me, but hey, right now you probably do need to just sit down
Yeah.
and relax. You're going too fast. And as long as you have people around you that will do that, and again, like, it's like my mentors, like, as long as they're real with you but they support what you do, that's so important. So having a system of people that support your goals, support your drive, but also understand, hey, when you need to sit down, that's huge.
Yeah. It's like having a good coach. They don't want to tell you, "Hey, look, yeah, you're having a good game, but you're running a little bit hot. We need you for that fourth quarter. Yeah, you
Right.
got 34 right now, but we're up 20. So just chill out." And I mean, meaning that things are going good, but you still need to take some time to reflect, to just kind of be present.
Right.
Because I can imagine, man, with all that traveling, I mean, being in the circles that you're in, sometimes you can get really like a little bit hot on yourself. Be like, yeah, feeling yourself in a certain way because you're good at what you do. I mean, I think that's for players, for coaches, for any professional, CEOs, whoever, right? There's times where you just got to realize, like, hey, I need to go back to the basics, and that support system helps you to understand that. So I want to ask you, Ani, what's your why? Like, why do you do what you do?
My family, honestly, like, just coming from a family of just like immigrants, they came to this country. I see my mom and dad work multiple jobs and just try to figure out how to like make a living for me and my sisters. I just they're my wife, my wife, like, they're just seeing my parents really struggle to create a living for me and my siblings was so important and so big for me to see, that I'm just like, no, I got to work, because I know this is all they ever did, right? And then now just, being married, now you got a family, right? Like you got to provide, and that they're my why. Like I keep going, it's sometimes my wife calls me a workaholic. But I said, listen, I'm just trying to make sure we're all good. Like, make sure she's good. Make sure my parents are good. Anything my sisters need, my niece, as my family's just expanding. Even my in-laws now, like in-law cousins, whatever, like brothers, and I just do it for my family. Like, just from the beginning of being, just coming from a house of, of two immigrants, and then also being in Tyler, Texas, because Tyler, like I said, is a football area. So being a basketball guy isn't normal, So I would say just a mixture of those three things: just my wife, my family, her family, my parents, and then just being where I'm from, because basketball's not an attractive. Like, people play it, but it's football is going to be reign supreme at the end.
Yeah, to everybody that's soft, it's like basketball's for soft guys.
Yeah.
That's Texas in a nutshell, right? Everybody thinks, basketball players are soft. They're just too finesse. They're not grinders, but we know different, right? And I think the way things are going is changing the tide and the mindset of people here in Texas. But man, that's a good life, Ani. It really is a good life you have, man. And I think, and I know you know that, but when you have that kind of support system and that kind of why, like, man, there ain't nothing you can't do, man. It's like, so you got to this point in your career, man, where else can you go? I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Yeah. So I look forward to your future and all that. But given that, man, I want to ask you, and not that because you're so young, I want to ask you, when your time with the game is all said and done, what would you want people to say about you?
That I was a hell of an evaluator, and I was a good person. I was a genuine person. Because whenever that time is up, that's going to be 20, 30 years. And at the end of like 2 or 3 decades, if someone could say you are a hell of an evaluator and a good human being, that says a lot. But also a giving person, someone that people could reach out to, that people didn't feel intimidated to reach out to, and all that. But a giving, good person, and a hell of an evaluator.
Ani, I appreciate you so much, man. Here again, seeing kind of here again the beginning or whatever part you were at, the grind to now has been really, really fun to watch, and I can't wait for the future. Like I said, man, I know the future is bright for myself and you, and so it's like those kind of kindred spirits, man. I think that's what I look forward to when having you on too. I was like, man, I can't wait to have him on. And so as I knew it would be like so good, so natural, so easy. And not that it's not with anybody else, but it just, I always do this to feature the right people. And everybody that I've ever featured on this podcast is the right person. Because everybody has a story, everybody has a journey, right? And so here again, man, I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you. And one last shout out to Snoop Johnson. Snoop Johnson.
Oh, man. He's back, right? He's back. That's good stuff.
Mike, we both have bright futures, man. I'm excited. Yeah. I appreciate you bringing me on this pod, and anything you need on my end, just let me know. But I'm just excited about what's ahead.
Yeah, likewise.